YouTube, chicks. Get ready.
You know what to do, chicks.
So let's hit Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth, appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Mona Love from Don't Call Me White Girl podcast is not here for the rumors. Now, you guys know how this podcast and media thing goes, right? After somebody gets fired, it's a race to get your narrative out there. Obviously, if you're the person who fired her, you basically don't want the fans to think you're a piece of shit, especially if that person you fired was really good and a fan favorite. Now, before she popped off and had her own podcast, Mona Love was actually on GILLIE Wallo's podcast. Now, even though she was actually really good at podcasting and fans actually loved her, GILLIE and Wallo unfortunately let her go. Later on, GILLIE actually revealed that they fired her because she was always late for the podcast and also was not taking it serious. Meanwhile, Mona Love had a whole different story. She actually denied that her being late was the actual issue for her getting fired. And she also revealed in a No Jumper interview that she was ghosted by GILLIE and Wallo.
When I was with the gang, they had just lost one of the hosts and tell them why they should pick you. So they did one girl, she posted a video, and then I posted mine. My video got more likes and views than any other video on the Million Hours Worth of Game page. So GILLIE hit me like 12 a.m. and was like, yo, you want to pull up tomorrow? I'm like, bet. So I come. He like, we just doing tryouts. We do the first episode. We get through it. Niggas cracking up in here. Wallo jump off his feet. That's it. She the one, cuz. She that one. GILLIE looked at that nigga like, yo, if looks get killed, like, sit the fuck down, nigga. Don't let her know we like her, you know? That day, we filmed 3 episodes. And then we did that for like 3 months. And then they just stopped speaking to me. Yeah.
There's no, I never gave you no explanation.
Took me out the good morning group text. You know, everybody be like, good morning, y'all. I ain't getting no good morning.
You know, you ain't even got to say if there was, what it was, if there was an explanation, but do you feel like they gave you an explanation to it?
A nigga, they ghosted me. They stopped speaking to me.
Now, fast forward years later, that narrative that GILLIE said about her being late and not taking podcasting seriously is unfortunately still following her till this day. With Joe Budden continue to hire and also add new hosts to the podcast and podcast network, Mona Love is a name that people have been tossing around as a possible host. A lot of fans of the Joe Budden podcast have been asking for a stronger female presence. With Melissa Ford about to start her own podcast, people keep asking for somebody to replace her, or at least for Joe to bring in another rotating female guest. Now, after somebody suggested that Joe should add her to the podcast, a fan responded saying, nah, GILLIE and Wallo fired her because she was always late or calling off. Joe would be stressed out fucking with her and flip. Now, after not tweeting for weeks, Mona Love was fed up and she came on Twitter to address it. She said, that's a fucking lie, ugly. I'm tired of y'all running with that shit. I was a guest host, never a co-host. They stopped having me on and went straight celebrity guest ever since. WTF, it made sense to me, shit. And yes, you are ugly. Ugly? Now listen, if I'm Mona, bro, I gotta have GILLIE clear this up. I cannot have this perception from the fans and also people in the industry thinking that I'm always late to a podcast. Even though she does have her own successful podcast, having this reputation of not taking things seriously and also coming late can hinder you from other opportunities. I believe she's also been on the Joe Budden podcast, and I believe Joe has made comments saying he would actually hire Mona if she wasn't with the current company she's with. So obviously there's some mutual interest there with her and Joe Budden. Maybe she might end up on the podcast, maybe she might end up on the network, but either way, somebody has gotta clean up that nasty lie about her. You guys get in the comments below. Would you guys like to see Mona Love on the Joe Budden podcast? Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.